You have two columns. There are two columns given in the exam, and you're asked to match those words. Have you seen those kind of questions? Yes,
Yes,
no,
ma'am.
which one, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So we are going to look at, what is the logic behind trying to say that these two words appear together, right? So collocation is all about appearance of words together, and it's not a very common or a general sort of an appearance, but this appearance is based on its appearance frequency, right? It's like a pair. Um, Let me share the slides with you. We'll discuss it more in detail, what it means, and then I'll take you through at least four sets of um, collocational, the major collocational pairs in English, right? So we'll discuss that. So that means this week and the next week, right? The following week, we're going to be doing the activities based on this collocation, right? Uh, just a moment, let me share the screen with you and then I can talk in detail about this. Just confirm with me once you're able to see the screen or the slides clearly, okay? Right. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So we'll be discussing on the word collocation part for today's class, and let's look at straight away, what this means. So, like we were discussing, these are pairs of words, which means there are going to be two words, right, at least, and these words could be anything, right? These words could be anything in the sense where class could be anything. The words in the pair could be noun and adjective, adjective and adjective, adjective and adverb, verb and a preposition, preposition and a verb, right? The combination could be any, and the word class could be any, right? Uh, we are referring to any such words, no matter what their word class is, a pair of two such words, which almost always appear together, right? They co-occur and they co-occur frequently. Look at the first sentence that you have on the first point that you have on the slide. Collocational words are basically pair of words that co-occur frequently. This phrase is very important, right? So just co-occurrence is not the necessity, the necessary condition to fulfill a word pair to become a collocation. But what is also necessary is their co-occurrence frequency. That is, they should appear together everywhere, right? Um, Look at some of the examples that you have on screen. Have you heard these phrases somewhere, at least once or twice? Completely satisfied, excruciating pain, a surge of anger, make a mistake, burst into tears, okay? Wait frantically. Have you heard at least some of them, if not all of them?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes,
Yes,
ma'am. Some
no?
of them we have heard of.
Some of them you have heard. Okay, very good. Fine. Have you heard anything similar to a surge of anger? Anyway, you have the example of a surge of anger, but is there any other pairing that you've heard which is similar to this? Try and remember if you have any. Similarly, you do the same thing for the other pairs that you have. Like completely satisfied. Can you give me some? Let's begin with that thing. Can you give me something else that would occur with completely, the adverb completely? Some other word that goes with the adverb completely.
Completely mistaken.
Completely mistaken. Okay. Anything else? You can comment if you, in case, are not uh, able
Completely
to
wasted.
Completely covered.
completely
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 blocked.
cover. Okay, completely wasted, completely covered, completely filled. Yes, somebody tells me completely filled as well. Okay, all right. Others completely. What is that? Sorry, I didn't see the answer. Okay, all right. More. That's all. Anything more?
Completely watched.
Completely
Watched.
watched.
Yeah.
Watched. Okay. Completely watched. Completely blocked. Okay. Now, what does this tell you? You keep this aside. You can keep all these examples that you've given to me aside. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Excruciating pain. So you could make pair either with, excruciating, that is, you can look for words that may go with the word excruciating, or you can look for something that goes with pain. But let's say that we take excruciating. Then you think of something that would be paired with the word excruciating. And excruciating is what? In this pair, it is an adjective, right? Completely was an adverb, and excruciating here is it is an adjective, right? When you look for something that would go with it, we are doing this exercise to make a point, right? Which will follow. Excruciatingly slow. I'm not sure about that. But okay, anyway, let's keep that. You can keep typing. Whatever you comes to your mind, you can keep typing. Or you can say both of the options. Stinging pain. Okay. Can we will focus on the excruciating part first. Let's see what can follow excruciating besides pain.
Excruciating headache.
Excruciating headache. Okay. Type it out. Whatever you're saying, no, you can also leave that in the chat so that we have a list of words while we discuss later. If whoever is giving me answers, please write them down in the chat as well. So excruciating, what is the last thing? Headache, yes. Anything more? Think. Okay, now let's go to excruciating hope. Okay, thank you. Right, so we will not take a lot of time, we don't want to spend a lot of time per word because I want to take up a certain exercise also in the class. Otherwise, we'll have to do this particular topic for 3 weeks. So let's say we'll stop with excruciating for the moment. You've given me 2 examples are in the chat. We'll come back to them. What about the next one? A surge of anger. A surge of anger. So a surge of something, right? A surge of something. Let's say we are looking for that. A surge of delight, a surge of pleasure. Okay. Someone else? Surge of pleasure, delight, anything more that you want to add to this? Keep in mind, we are not looking for just surge, right? So don't give me things like surge in the capacity and all that. We are particularly looking for something that would come with a surge form. A surge of love. Okay. Right. Good. Right. There's also something called a surge of excitement. Right. This is also very common use. The surge of excitement. Hmm. Think about it. Right. Even if it doesn't come immediately to you, make a note of this and also what others are answering and think if you can add to it. Right. So next one, make a mistake. So make a something. A surge of hope. Very good. A surge of hope. Very good. Yes. Now the next one, make a mistake. What do you make a deal? Yes. Very good. Then make a comment. Yes. Very good. What is that? Make a well, I don't understand what that is. So yeah, make a presentation scenario, correct? Yes. Make a subscribe. That's new to me. I haven't heard, so I do not know if it is right or wrong. It's a little new. If it is available in the usage, fine. But I am not sure if it. I'll check. Make a pick. Make a pick. Okay. Yeah, make a note. Yes, very good. Make a choice. Yes. Make an opinion. No, it's not make an opinion. You give an opinion, right? Uh, There could be a usage on make an opinion, but that is not a collocational usage. Make a move, yes. Make a dish, okay. Yes. So some of the examples that you're giving me are not collocations, and I'll tell you why. right? They are collocations, but they do not qualify as strong collocations. Okay, right, good, good. Next one, burst into tears. Burst into tears. Make a profit is good, that's right. Burst into laughter, yes, very good. Ah, make a mockery is correct. Burst into flames, okay. Yes. Burst into tears of joy, right? So instead of tears, we can also add tears of joy. Burst into anger, I'm not sure. Hmm. Burst into anger is not a, I don't think it's the right usage. But rest of the ones that you've given me, they're right. Anything? Burst into pieces. It's a right phrase grammatically, but not a collocation. Okay. Burst into wild applause. Have you heard about this? Hmm? Okay. Something called burst into wild applause, referring to, see, burst into is basically an exaggerated usage, right? So burst into not just joy, you can say burst into tears of joy or burst into tears, both are right. Burst into pieces, not a collocational usage. Burst into flames is correct. Burst into a wild applause is correct. Anything else that you know? There's something called burst in, no, but not burst into crack, burst into uh, blossom or burst into bloom, right? Both mean the same actually. You can say burst into bloom or burst into blossom. You can also say burst into a fit of giggles, right? These are all examples of collocation with burst into. Okay, now the last one, right? Wave frantically. Now this one I give you the choice of taking any of these. Wave frantically. I did not say any question, Sonali. We are still discussing the um, combinations that you might know that can come along with some of these words. Search frantically, very good. Yes, yes. Try frantically, very good. Yes. Anything else? It will have a few more, certainly, not just these two. Bleated frantically, okay. Nice. Others, try. Working frantically. Enjoy it frantically, I do not know. They may not be. That might not be the right answer. Work frantically, yes. Work frantically is correct. Yes. Uh-huh. You can say dash frantically, laugh frantically, yes, very good. Mm. Lead frantically, yes. Scribble frantically, yes. Okay, right. So now, if you look at, uh, the activity that you just did, do you think all these, we looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs, right? 6 pairs of collocation at this moment. Was it look around frantically? Yes, the correct answer. That's also correct. Ran frantically is also correct. So see, we can stop for the moment. I'm happy that you've had some answers to this here. But now, next question to you. While you were, trying to search for words which could fit with one of the uh, words in the combination, did you, was it easy for you to find combinations for all of them equally? Was it easy, or did you feel like, some of it was a little difficult and it was, almost impossible to find the next pair after two or three or four of them? But some of them, they had like a lot of it. Yes, no?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Did you feel that way? Yes. Right.
Yes,
So, for
ma'am.
Yes.
example, with completely, right? You could add anything to that, right? It feels like that there could be many, many, many more than what we had discussed, right? But when it comes to something like say burst into, you know that there is a restriction. Beyond a point, you are not able to find certain things, right? The combination becomes very restricted. Now, this is how collocation works, right? Let's look at the slide again. What we just, yeah, so well, correct. Your answer is correct. I made you do this exercise. I asked you to do this so that we can talk about something that is very important about word collocation, right? Now, word collocation works on spread, which means certain collocational pairs are going to be weak in nature, and some of it is going to be very strong, right? And along with this, I also will have to say that you call a particular pair strong if it is very flexible, sorry, if it is inflexible. Like look at an example like burst into tears, right? Is it a flexible collocation? Can I have as many as combinations as I want? Or can I have too many combinations in burst into? No, right? So it's an inflexible combination. So this is a very strong collocation. So if the flexibility is low, if I can have only very limited pairs coming together, limited words forming the combination, then I call that kind of a collocation a very strong collocation, right? Examples of that would be burst into tears or certain other kind of collocations like, differentiate between, relevant to, right? Um, interested in. These are also examples of collocation between what? An adjective and a preposition. These are grammatical combinations because collocations because they are relevant to make the sentence grammatical. These kind of collocations are very, very strong. Okay, so burst into tears, interested in. These are all examples of collocations which are inflexible. They have very less flexibility and hence they are considered very strong. But something like completely satisfied, right? This is a word collocation. This is a weak collocation. It is highly flexible. You can have many, many words which can be paired with both satisfied and complete, right? So such a pair is a collocation, yet it is not a strong collocation. Got this point? Okay, any question on that? You understood why I call it strong, flexible, inflexible, and all that, right? Yes, no,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So, next question you can ask me then, how do I decide the flexibility? Is it, is there a rule for me to decide whether, the pair, the flexibility of a word in the pair? How can I decide upon that? Not that there's no way to decide. The only way we know that is by its frequent co-occurrence. If you see something occurring frequently with each other in, speech or in writing, then you know that it is a very strong combination of the pairs, and hence it's a strong collocation. There is no rule associated with it. It's completely dependent on the language use and convention. Right? Remember what we discussed in the initial lectures. We had a one lecture on language learning, right? So we heard in the lecture that there are two parts to it. One is it, which is the innate capacity, something that you have within yourself to learn any language. It could be English, it could be Hindi, it could be Malayalam, it could be Gujarati, anything. You're born with that capacity to learn it. And the second is the languages that you learn by names, which are part of the society that you grow. So language, when it works in the society, it has certain conventions. It has certain way in the way, a certain way in which people would use it. People would like you to speak it. These are called language conventions, right? And these conventions are found both in speech and writing. So when I say it is not rule driven, I'm basically saying that this is how the society uses. So in the case of word collocation also, if you ask me a question on how do I decide upon the flexibility of a word in the pair, there is no answer to it. It basically depends on the language use and convention. Certain pairs would be always found together. The words in the pair would be always found together, and hence they become a very strong collocated pair. Right? Some of them can take more combinations within them, more words to form combination like completely satisfied. Hence, they are weaker collocation. That's the way the society uses that particular language. And in our case, the English society, whichever society which predominantly speaks English, right? So that their conventions and their standards becomes the norm for other people who want to learn that language or speak. Right? Got this point? Any question on that? Understood the point? Why we cannot,
Yes, ma'am.
talk about, what if there's a rule on flexibility? Okay. I hope you have understood. If you haven't understood, please ask me. All I'm saying is we cannot apply grammatical rules to everything. Okay, there are certain parts to which we can apply rules and learn it, but every aspect of the language cannot be learned using rules, right? Although it's a rule-bound system, there are certain parts of the language which are hidden or which are carried forward through convention and are arbitrary. That is, arbitrary means not fixed, right? It's not fixed because it is dependent on how the people who speak that language usually prefer to do it. Okay, and these things exist in our languages also, right? It's not just for English. These are very much the possibility for Indian or South Asian languages also. Any language of the world for that. Okay, right. Now, we'll discuss a little bit on the types of collocation we have. We mostly have four varieties. Lexical collocation basically means the combination between any word class, right? So, like I told you in the beginning, adjective or a noun or a verb, adverb or an adjective, right? Or a preposition or a verb. The combination can be any. Although the combination can be between any word class, in English we have six major such classes, which means it's mainly the combinations of collocation are found in these six word classes, in the combination of these six classes, right? It doesn't mean that the other classes cannot form the collocation there, but the large number of collocations that you see in the English language are usually when sort of study them and reduce them, we say that they fall within these six subclasses of word class, right? Which are those word classes? The combination of adjective and noun word class, combination of verb and noun word class, adverb and adjective. This is abundant. People who are looking forward to improve their vocabulary in English, right? This is a question that we constantly get from people, right? What do I do to improve my English vocabulary? So people who are looking forward to do that, they will have to focus a little bit on this part of the collocation while they're reading. When you're reading, go through these lexical collocation, particularly between an adverb and an adjective, right? Adverb and an adjective you had in the first example we discussed, right? This one. Completely satisfied. Remember? So completely is an adverb and satisfied is what? It's an adjective, right? So adverb adjective combinations are mostly the ones that you see in writing, which helps you, if you pay attention to it, it helps you improve your vocabulary really well. And why do I say this? It's also because learning words and their meaning and their use in isolation is a very tough task, right? It's a very difficult thing. Whenever you're trying, when you're making effort to learn language or trying to improve your proficiency, you have to ensure that you're learning the language in chunks. And learning in chunks basically means this. You learn as much as possible, you learn it as a phrase, you learn it as a collocational pair, so that you know the exact use in the context of that particular phrase, right? And it's just to avoid that you learn the meaning of the word in isolation. That will not help you, right? So, for example, if I don't know the meaning of the word excruciating or frantically, I can go to the dictionary and figure out the meaning of what frantically is. Most probably, when I go to the dictionary, I might only get the meaning of frantic, right? Uh, you can look at that word, learn the meaning, come back and completely forget it, right? Instead, if you are looking at frantically as search frantically, okay, or what was the example that we had? There were too many other examples, right? Um, dash frantically. If this is how I am looking at the word and its combination, then the chance of me using that word as well as understanding that word is high. Okay, rather than just looking at frantic and its meaning or frantically and its meaning. So learning language in chunk is very, very important for you to retain, right? Retention is much better when you learn it in chunk. And that is also why the advice is that you focus on learning things like collocation. Okay, Right. So what are the other three? So these three are the first three prominent classes. The next three prominent would be a noun and a noun combination, then a verb and an adverb combination. This verb and adverb combination is also very, very important, right? Both adverb and adjective and verb and adverb combinations are abundantly found in English reading and in writing and speech. Right? Someone who pays attention to these two combinations will find their vocabulary improve a lot. Okay? So verb and adverb, and the last class, that is the prominent classes, verb and prepositional phrases. Okay. Remember, other combinations between other word classes are possible. I have listed these because these are the most prominent six word class combination, or which is also called the lexical combination. Lexical just means word class. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. This is why these are the ones that are listed. Okay, let's look at few examples under each of the category, each of the combination to understand what it means. So look at the first example, painful experience, right? But not painful taste. What do you understand by this? Can someone comment on this one? Painful experience, but not painful taste. This is also directly related to what becomes a collocation. Painful experience, but not painful taste. What do we mean by that? Can I say painful taste? Does it have a meaning? Have you ever heard something called
No,
painful
ma'am.
taste? No, right? But you have heard painful experience. You could have heard other combinations with painful or with experience also. But have you heard painful taste? No, right? And why is it not a possible combination? Because there is no semantic possibility for it. It has no meaning. Right? If you use something like a painful taste, it could be a creative coinage, but it cannot be a collocation because it is not a pairing that occurs frequently. Remember the first uh, point on the previous slide, co-occur frequently, right? Painful taste might be a combination that can appear in a creative coinage somewhere, but it is not a part of the common vocabulary of the language or an accepted part of the common vocabulary, right? Because it has no meaning. Understood. So semantic restrictions on meaning also affect the possibility of pairing in collocation. This also you should keep in, right? Painful experience, painful is adjective and noun is an extra, experience is a noun. It's a combination of painful and, adjective and a noun word class. Adjective and noun word class, they are very weak in nature, right? The strength is very weak. They're highly flexible. You can have various and numerous combinations between adjective and noun word classes. The given words can form various combinations. Hence, usually the adjective and the noun combination is considered a little weak, right? It's highly flexible, hence considered weak collocation. Now, the next one, verb plus noun. Open the door. Open the door. Actually, both of those examples are correct. I think what I meant to write was open the lights. Okay, you can say open the door. You can't say open the lights, right? You have to say turn on the lights or turn off the lights, not open the lights, right? But open the door is a right combination between verb and the noun. It's basically like an imperative sentence, right? Open the door or open the tap, but not open the lights, right? When it comes to lights, you'll have to say turn on the lights or turn off the lights, right? Adverb and adjective, deeply hurt, strong women, but not strong food. Okay, you can say strong women, but you can't say strong food. Again, semantic restriction. Okay, so combination between any adverb and any adjective is not allowed. If there's a semantic restriction, like in the case of painful taste or strong food, then that pairing is not accepted or it is not allowed. Similar to adjective and noun combination is adverb and adjective combination. They can also have various combinations with each other, like deeply hurt. You can use many more adverbs with the word hurt, right? You can the adjective hurt, right? So this is also like more like an open combination. Many combinations are possible. So again, these kind of collocations are considered weak, right, due to its high flexibility. Let's move on to the next. Yes, you have a question, Bhaskaran? Please ask.
Yeah, is there some sort of a rule which we can follow to identify
Yes, yes.
such mismatches?
Right. I just talked about it. I think you might have
Sorry that I came
joined late.
late. Sorry.
Yes,
That
yes.
if there is somewhere document, I can refer to that.
No, no, no. So there's no rule. The answer is there's no rule, right? These are all the part that we are discussing now are part of what you refer to as language conventions. I'll just repeat it for the sake of you because that's an important point to understand here. Like we discussed, we have grammatical components in this language, right?
Yeah.
Why is it not just a moment. Huh? Why is it not an example of adjective and noun? I'm a strong woman. Women is a noun, strong is an adjective, right? It is a combination. Okay. Yeah. So my what I was saying is you have various grammatical components in all languages. So there are aspects of languages that you can learn using rules, right? You can have rules on tense. You can have rules on agreements, so on and so forth. But certain part of the language, certain segment of the language, and all languages, not just English, right? Any language, so to speak, will have certain components which have to be learned by convention, right? There are no answers to it. Why do you say a thing in a certain way? That is the convention, or that is the way in which the society that uses that language predominantly has been using it, right? And these kind of elements are available in our languages as well. We cannot answer why is it so, but that is the convention in which we use. The same thing applies to the flexibility quotient of or the pairing quotient of the collocation also. Certain words you do not know why we are putting them together or why they can't occur together. Like certain things you can say, like when I say something like painful taste, I can say no, this is not allowed because I know it makes no sense, right? But if I give you an example like interested in, right? And then you ask me, why is it always interested in? Why can't I use interested at? I don't have an answer for it. Right? This is because it's a very strong collocation and the society by convention uses interested in. Interested at is considered wrong usage because it's not acceptable within the society. Okay? It might look grammatically fine, but it is not acceptable. Right? So remember this part. Every language will have a grammatical component and it will also have an acceptability quotient.
I understand
You have
that.
to satisfy.
I understand. What we are saying is these are all the current customs practices
Yeah.
which
Yes.
certain words and certain in combinations they are acceptable or commonly
Yeah.
used
Yeah. Commonly used.
as.
Yes.
Now my question is
Yes.
if there is a collection or if there is any document which probably lists these are the possibilities, these are probably not heard of, then we will probably
There are
that's all.
No, I don't think a list of that sort is available, but you certainly have something called a collocational dictionary, right? But I am not a big fan of suggesting dictionaries for use to people to learn language. You can refer to it, but I would suggest the common answer that is provided for any question related to acquisition of vocabulary is read, nothing beyond. Okay, so that is what will make you strong. Hence, that's the only thing that we suggest.
How do I improve the possibility of speaking right?
Speaking right.
Yeah, the right way of speaking.
As I said, the same answer. Reading and using, not just reading, but also trying to use what it has learned and read in various contexts, whether in speech or in writing, right? So one thing is, if you do not have someone to converse with, which is mostly the case, you cannot just make somebody sit down and listen to you all the time. You can start off the practice of writing. Like if you want, you can start writing a blog, right? Or you can start journaling, right? This is self-help. You might not have every time people around you to help you improve, but you certainly can help yourself, and that is these are some of the ways, right? Read and write about it. Read something and write about what you have read. And while you write, you try and use things that you have encountered or been exposed to while you were reading, right?
Okay, thank you.
Sure, no problem. Okay. Anybody else any question?
Excuse me,
We'll come
ma'am.
back to what? Yes, go on.
Ma'am, you just mentioned about writing it in the form of blog or some article. So writing is easy. Means okay, we can manage it, but the important thing is getting a feedback on it so that we can understand our mistakes. So if improving using the self help. So how to get that feedback, ma'am?
So if you are a beginner in writing, you will have to make submissions. See, I think there are provisions, at least in our program, to do that, but it may not be open to the English one as of now. From next year, I mean, next semester onwards, I think you can make a submission of what you're writing, and there is a feedback that is given to you. Okay. So what you can do is you can start writing, and as and when they start this particular thing, this segment, I think it's called Write With Us or something. You can make submissions to them, right?
Okay.
And try and get feedback from them. But keep writing. What I have understood is that even without the feedback, somebody who writes constantly will automatically improve because you're also reading, right? When you look at what you have written and when you read, you know that, okay, this may not be the right usage, right? So continue doing that. And at the point where you understand or you think that I really require a feedback, you can submit it up to someone. And I mean, in this program, you can do that from next time onwards. Okay. Others, sorry for the digression. Some of these questions, we don't get to talk to people every time. So whenever there's a chance, I just in chat and say a few things to people, right? Okay, so the next three combinations of the lexical collocations is noun and noun. Okay, Ahmed, you had a question, right, about adjective and, yeah, that's okay. Adjective and noun, right? I don't understand last example of strong woman. Swastika, what you don't understand in that?
Actually, the ma'am sentence I don't understand.
There is no sentence. It's just the phrase strong women. And that was an example of a combination of adjective and noun, right?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think it was. And that's it. Strong women, not strong women. Okay. So it's that strong women is a right combination. Okay. Although a weak combination because you can have any other, there are many more adjectives that are possible with the word women, right? But not strong food. Strong food is a wrong example because it is semantically wrong. It doesn't mean anything. You can't say strong food. You can say strong smell, but not strong food. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So in that sense, it's a wrong usage. So it's an unacceptable combination because it is semantically flawed. It has no meaning, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, let's just a noun and noun combinations. Herd of elephants, right? A lot of collective nouns might fall in this particular category. Herd of elephants, right? Bunch of trees, so on and so forth. Then the verb and adverb combination, speak loudly, right? This is also a kind of collocation which is very weak in nature, which means when I say it is weak, I mean to say that several possible combinations are allowed for these kind of word classes. Verb and adverb combinations, you can make a mix and match of many, many pairs. Hence, it's a very weak bond between them. So we call it a weak collocation. Now, look at this one again. Speak loudly, but not walk loudly. Right? You can't say walk loudly because it doesn't make any sense. Right? Semantic restriction again. So that kind of a combination is not possible. Right? The last one, the prominent lexical collocation is a verb and a prepositional phrase. Look at the example, beam with happiness or beam with pride. Right? So with happiness, with pride is your prepositional phrase, which is in combination with the verb beam. You can say beam with happiness, beam with pride, but you can't say beam with gladness, right? Is there a difference between happiness? Okay, let's put pride aside, but happiness and gladness. What do you think? Sonali, yes, you can answer. If you're answering. If you're not, then the question is open to others. Uh, are happiness and gladness related? They are.
I think so.
They are.
Both
So they
state,
have
both are representing a state of
mind. Correct.
mind.
State of, yes.
Definitely towards
Happiness
the
and
positive side. Happiness, glad.
correct, correct. So there is a degree of variation between happiness and gladness because when I
Yes.
say ecstasy, it's again happiness, but it's a very higher form of excited happiness, right? When I
Yes.
say
You're
ecstasy.
right.
And then there's happiness and then there's gladness, which is lighter, than happiness, or if it is deeper than happiness, if I'm supposed to talk from the emotional perspective.
I would
But
say,
they all have similarity.
yeah, when someone asks, how are you feeling? I'm glad, okay, I'm happy.
Yes,
That's much more
yes,
stronger.
correct, correct. So they certainly have similarities. There are similar shades of meaning. However, in usage, look at how they are done in the language, right? So you can say being with happiness, but you can't say being with gladness, right? This is what collocation tells you. Even when there are similarity of shades, similar shades of words, similarity in their meanings, you still may not be able to use it exactly the way they're used. Like I can say being with happiness, but then I cannot say being with gladness, right? But I can say being with pride. This is a very different word there, right? So these are also aspects of collocation. Like just because the word has similarity of meaning with something else, it doesn't mean that the same combination of word classes that I use with the other can be allowed for this, right? So look at this one. Fall in love. Okay, a good usage. We always the most commonly used expression fall in love, but you don't say fall in hate, right? We don't say fall in hate. We only say fall in love. You don't say, for example, you have the next one, the next example that I have on the screen, handle with care. But do you say handle with indifference? No. You say behave indifferently, but you don't say handle indifferently, right? So this is particularly what the collocation does to you, and this is why the suggestion on read more, right? This is again where the question of, is there a rule? No. That these are all conventional usages. Like you can question, if I can say being with happiness, why can't I say being with joy? Answer is we don't, right? So it's not an acceptable usage. By convention, we do not use it, even though they have similarity in their meaning. There are some shades of similarity in there. Okay, I hope that point is clear to you. Okay, everyone. Right? Any question
Excuse me,
at this
ma'am.
point? Sonali, go ahead. Sonali, you can speak.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, could you please scroll up the slide?
Okay. All right. Yeah, tell me.
Yes, ma'am. An example of adverb and adjective, how it can be possible of a strong woman.
Oh, it's adverb and adjective. Okay, yeah,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
That you can take off. You can take strong with them to adjective and more. I'll do it right away. That is what you were asking. I did not understand.
Yes, ma'am. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. I think probably that was what Ahmed was asking instead. I thought you were objecting to strong women as a combination. Okay, fine now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. I hope you have no question. If you have any, you can ask. I think this much should be understood to all of you. Okay. Now, the next category of collocation that we have is the grammatical collocation. Okay. Now, this is supposedly the strongest form of collocation, and by strongest, I mean uh, they are sort of fixed in use, right? So if it has to be interested in, that means it's interested in. You cannot bring any other preposition in combination with this word here when used in a sentence, right? So grammatical combinations or grammatical collocations are the strongest form of collocations available in any language, whether that is English or anything else, right? So for your reference, the three examples that we have on screen differentiate between relevant to, interested in, right? All of them will have to be used as such. Other combinations of prepositions, if allowed in one or two of them, could be a mere combination, but not a strong collocation combination, right? But all the three are very strong. They cannot be replaced with anything else in a sentence, right? To give out the meaning that they are intended to. Okay. We'll do an exercise on this, and I actually have one 12 or 20 of sentences which tells you exactly on the kinds of grammatical collocations we have in English, right? So there are just three examples on screen, but in that exercise, when we take that up, you can take a look at more of such combinations, right? Now, the third kind is called the delexicalized verbs, right? Why do we call it delexicalized? Because In this particular combination, you usually have a combination of a verb and a noun, right? What was the example that we had in the sentence? Sorry, in the previous slide, this one, right? Make a mistake, right? This is an example of collocation which uses a delexicalized verb. So in a delexicalized verb combination, you usually have a noun and a verb, right? A verb and a noun combination. And what happens to the verb in this particular combination? So like in make a mistake, right? What is the meaning of make a mistake? What is the meaning of the phrase make a mistake?
To do something wrong.
To do something wrong. Are you making a mistake? Right? What is the meaning of the word make? To produce something, right? But do we have that kind of literal meaning used in this particular phrase, make a mistake? No, right? Which means the verb is delexicalized. When I say the verb is delexicalized, I mean to say that the verb actually does not play a lot of role in giving out the meaning in that phrase. It is the noun which is the main part of that particular combination. It is from the noun that you derive the meaning of that particular collocation and not from the verb, right? That is not adding anything or is not contributing any meaning to that collocation, which is why the name delexicalized verb. Delexicalized because no contribution in meaning, right? No meaning is being contributed. So similarly, like make, you have a few other verbs in English which are used as delexicalized verbs and are used in the combination of these delexicalized verbs, right? What are those? Some of them are they're on your screen, right? So do, have, get, go, make, and sometimes also there's one that is missing from this list. Can you tell me what it is? Two, no, actually one, just one. Put and set are like more recent. They have been added to the delexicalized verbs list recently. Recently, I mean, by recent, I mean maybe a decade or so ago, right? But there's one that is missing from this list. Can you tell me which one is that? Do, have, get, go, make, take. Anybody? Any wild guess?
Ma'am, can I ask a question?
You can ask the question. Do you have an answer for this? Right?
No, I don't.
No?
No,
Okay.
not,
What is the question? Huh?
he is making a mistake. You said that.
No, not that kind of
Acceptance.
example. We have a set of verb here, no? Verbs here, right? We have do, have, get, go,
Yeah,
make,
make.
etc.
Here the verb is making, but really is
Yes,
not
yes,
making.
yes, that's right. But I'm saying there's one verb that is missing in this list.
I'm not following.
Okay, right.
I
The
thought,
verb is,
no, I thought we are understanding the verbs are not really meaning what they are normally mean.
yes, you're right. Your understanding is right of delexicalized verbs.
Okay.
Absolutely correct. I am only asking you that you see a set of verbs there, right, in the first point.
Yeah, I see.
These are all, they are delexicalized verbs. There's one verb that is missing in that list. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody who can say what that is.
Yeah, okay. What you're saying is one is missing in this.
Yes, one is missing.
Sorry. I'm not that good in English.
No problem. You are good. All of you are good in English. These kind of questions it may not come immediately to us, right? Give, that is the verb.
Take and give.
This
Okay.
verb is also delexicalized, right? So some people have commented. Thank you for your answers. The answer is give. Right? Give is the verb which is also used in the delexicalized format. Now, why is it delexicalized? Say I am giving a class in the morning, right? Am I giving anything to anybody? Am I giving the class? Is class an object that is given to anyone? No, right? So give is delexicalized. We are not using give in the literal sense of the term. We are not taking its meaning, but it has been used in this particular combination, right? So it's delexicalized. Understood why it is dielectric light. This is again, one of my favorite examples to discuss. Give a class and take a class. What is the difference? So, does a teacher give a class or does the teacher take a class?
Take a
Take
class.
a
Take
class.
Okay. And the students give a class?
no,
No. Right?
No.
It's the other way around.
they attend the class.
Right? I give the class and you take the class. I am giving you a class and you are taking this class. Understand? This is a very commonly seen error in the Indian users, particularly give and take. Right? So teacher gives the class and the students take the class. Teacher doesn't take the class. Okay? But in both the sentences that I use, that I am giving a class to you and you are taking the class with me, the verbs take and give are both what? They are being lexicalized verbs. Okay? So this is how you use them in the collocational combination. Okay? All right, any questions? So there are few examples for you here. Take care. Okay, take care of something, take care of someone, right? Take is what? It's delexicalized here. Do the homework. Again, do is delexicalized. Go karting or go shopping, go fishing. Right? Go is again a delexicalized word. Right? Right. And then, okay, yeah, that's all. So majorly you have three subdivisions. Like we discussed, you have the lexical combinations, the six of them that we discussed, they are the prominent ones, followed by the grammatical collocations like uh, differentiate between relevant to interested in, and the last one is the delexicalized verb. Okay, these are the three main kinds of collocations that you find in the English language, or maybe other languages. I don't bring examples from them because I don't have a list of examples for it, and also because the target language is English. Okay? Any questions on what collocation means and what are the different kinds of collocation we can find in the English language? Any questions or any general question that you have? Because I don't think we might have time to look at the activity today. So we'll club the activity 7 and 8 together for the next session. That doesn't matter. But do you have any questions as of now on this? Anything that is not understood, you think that is fuzzy and has gone above your head? Anybody? You can raise your hand or you can just start speaking. Where do you get these slides? They must all already been uploaded in the supplementary tab. If it is not, just let me know. Okay? Because we don't have slides for all sessions. Only, when I discuss something which may not have been covered extensively in the lecture and I have decided myself to talk about, then I might have a slide. Please check if it is available, you access it from there. If not, please write to us.
Thank you.
Sure. What happened, Ahmed? You have a maths exam? Oh, integrate with.
Sorry, did you ask something?
No, I did not ask you. I was asking someone by the name of Ahmed. Looks like he was giving an example of this is what an example of grammatical collocation. Or were you talking about some maths question? I figure it as an. Oh God. Okay, fine. Thank you. I'm not sure of this. I've left these things long back. Okay. Huh. Any questions? Anyone else? Ashok Sinha. Yeah, you have a question? Yeah, I cannot hear you. You haven't. Is there anyone else able to hear or is it just me?
We can't hear, ma'am.
Okay. Sure, sir. We are not able to hear you. Okay, no problem. You can type your query. Meanwhile, if there anyone else who wants to get anything clarified. So, Please, make reading a habit for you. Read at least half an hour every day and gradually increase the time to at least 1 hour, 1.5 or 2 hours. 2 hours should be very good to read every day, given you have other responsibilities. But at least start with 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then, slowly increase it to 1 or 2. No matter which field you are in and which discipline, it's only going to help you, right? So to understand and learn these kind of intricacies of language, because word collocation might look easy, but it's actually a little difficult part because it falls within the vocabulary acquisition part of the language, which is the toughest unless you put in the ample amount of efforts required, right? So the only method to get up to that levels of vocabulary is consistent reading, right? So do a little by little will help you. Like satisfied can be treated as an adjective as well as verb. Yes. Satisfied can be treated as an adjective as well as a verb, but uh, if it is if it appears in something like completely satisfied, then that is an adjective, right? But if I say like I am satisfied with your grades or scores, then the usage is as a verb, right? Uh, when used as an adjective, it is basically a participle. It has the ed suffix, but then that ed suffix is a participle suffix, and it's not the past tense marker. Okay, sure. Question, yeah, it can be treated as an adjective as well as a verb. Whether it's used as a verb or an adjective will be decided based on the context in which it is used. Right? Completely satisfied condition. So it has to be completely, you don't say completely satisfied condition. Even if you're using it in that way, you'll have to say completely satisfactory condition, not satisfied condition. Okay. Sonali, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. I want to a request to you. Kindly
Mhm.
upload all this PPT slide on supplementary content.
Aren't they uploaded already? Because usually they are all uploaded in the beginning of the session. You don't see any of these there?
No, ma'am. It only uploaded the recorded lecture.
Okay, I'll inquire with the team, right? I'll send them a message and ask if it is not uploaded. But has anyone else tried to access it or not? Check it. Others also, meanwhile, we check the PDF. I think they'll be uploaded as PDFs if I'm not wrong. But I'll ask them to recheck again and see if everything is uploaded. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Kindly, because it will be
So do
helpful
one
for
thing, Sonali.
during the
Please
exam.
write to the forum also. Okay. I will tell them, but you please write to the forum also so that it is on record that somebody has asked, right?
Sorry, ma'am, but I couldn't be able to access my Discuss forum. I mailed to the
Mhm.
support team.
Okay, you need to support it. Okay, anyway, I'll inform the team and I'll ask them to recheck if they have uploaded everything. If not, they'll do that. Okay.
Ma'am,
But
thank you,
you
ma'am.
on your part ensure that this is not just a problem for you. I'll ask them to recheck and upload, but you also make sure that it is not something that is just happening to you. Okay. Check with someone else as well if they're able to access. Let me just check it right now. How about others? Are you guys able to access?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. Fine. All right. Then we'll ask the team. Right? Okay.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
Okay,
one more
Sonali.
thing is
Ah,
bring. Ma'am, one more thing is please bring a session on a syllable and aesthetic voice.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. It
aesthetic
will
sound.
aspiration. Hmm. Aspirated sounds, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
ma'am,
That
I
would
need some.
happen. That would happen. I think next to next week will be on aspiration and syllable and stress.
Okay, ma'am.
Uh,
Thank you, ma'am.
sure.
Ma'am,
Sure.
ma'am,
Just a
I
moment. I
need
have a
some.
question from Praveen. Are you Praveen? All right.
No, ma'am. I'm like
Just a moment.
Vinay.
Just a moment. There's a question from Praveen. He has also raised the hand. I'll address that and come to you. His hands has been not present. Will collocated words appear more in some fields than others? No, nothing. Nothing like that, Praveen. They're all found equally everywhere, but in different combinations. So you can ask Praveen. I see your hands are raised. You may
Yeah,
ask.
so I was wondering whether legal documents will contain less of these than other fields.
Legal documents, there could be a tendency or there could be an understanding of legal documents to have more of these because they are recorded statements, right? So in writing, you may find a lot of such collocation usages. Probably that's the reason why there's an impression of such sorts. But uh, when I speak from the language point of view, there is nothing like that. It can be equally discussed in speech or writing and in any domain, so to speak.
Okay, I think you misunderstood what I said. So I had the impression that there will be less in legal documents. Yeah, maybe in
No, no.
recorded statements they would be there, but in statements
No,
where they
and why
want
do
to
you think
make
it would be
things,
less in legal documents?
if they
Then
want
I
to
can
make
answer
things
you.
very clear, then
No, collocations don't make anything unclear. They don't affect the clarity of your language. In fact, it adds to the clarity when you can use some of these things, right? So it doesn't bring about ambiguity. If you do not understand the phrase, it's a different question altogether. But uses such as collocational, words and all that, they don't affect the clarity. They are not like idioms and phrases. When they where the meaning is idiomatic in nature. There is nothing idiomatic about collocation, right? It's just a
understood.
certain way you use the language. There is nothing idiomatic about it. The meaning is very straightforward.
Mm. Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, I need some information regarding interim eligibility. Ma'am, like
And in term eligibility, I'll try to answer these kind of questions. No, they're best answered by the support. But what is it? Let me try if I know.
actually, is that compulsory to complete 9 weeks? All 9 weeks, like
Somebody from the class can answer the question better than me. Do you guys know? Should we complete all the best 5 out of 9? If that's the norm, then I think you'll have to do that. You will have to do that.
also there is something like in grading
Huh.
grading system, like there is mentioned like in general there will be considered only 9 weeks, and also like in second point they mentioned like 11 weeks up to there could be.
Okay. So, Vinay, I think it's better you talk to the support because if they are the ones dealing with it, they should clarify it to you, right? We work on the content part, so most of the times we are either not updated or we are ourselves not very sure of the setup in administration. So you should ask them directly, or maybe it's just that I don't know. Okay, I don't want to give you any wrong information. So it's better you to communicate your problems to them. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Please write to them. I think they will answer. Or if you know someone else who you think can help among the instructors, please write to them. It's just that I'm illiterate to answer. So I myself confused about a lot of things. So,
Yeah, actually, ma'am, I contacted, but they given like that. There will be something like sometimes they consider only 9 weeks and sometimes up to 11 weeks. So you continue doing up to 11. So if you could be eligible, you'll get S. So
okay. Uh, Again, same answer. Clarification needs to come from there, and if they are the ones who are setting the case. Please talk to them again. Write clearly what you want to ask, and I think they will reply.
yeah, okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. Sonali, you should check. So if it is available, please do check. I also had a feeling because I recently changed the documents, and if I had to replace, if they replaced it, it means something was already uploaded, right? check it, and if it is unavailable, please make sure that they make it available for you, or if there's anything that you should do from your end for us, please do that. Okay. Yes. Okay. So all right, guys. When we'll wind up for today, we'll take up both activities on de-lexicalized as well as the lexical and grammatical collocation, all the three together for the next week. Right? We'll do the activity for next week together, and the following week we'll, as Sonali mentioned, we'll do stress aspiration and syllabus. Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Just
Okay.
wanted to say one thing. Excuse me.
Yes. 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 Go on.
One of your slides had the example differentiate between, right?
Yes. The grammatical collocation. Yes.
So I was just making a joke that we can also have integrate with in the same spirit.
Oh, okay. I understand. Oh, that is what you were talking about.
Yes, yes. We have
Oh,
calculus,
okay, okay.
we have differentiation,
Ah,
we have integration.
yes,
So it
yes.
came from that.
Okay.
But I think it's not grammatically wrong either
No,
to
it
say
is not
integrate with.
grammatically.
It will
You
work.
just say integrate. You don't say integrated. And differentiate between. Actually, you don't say integrate with. And integrate with, you don't say. You simply say integrate. No, that's all.
Acha. The with is kind of unnecessary over there.
Yeah, it is unnecessary. You don't need it. Integrate can stand on its own. But yeah, if you're talking about a component that needs an integration, then it is integrated with something, right? But the action of integration itself is just integrate. That's all.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you next week again. Hope to see you again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Sure. Have a good day.